Greetings, and welcome to another edition to the Agile Uprising podcast. I'm your host today, ClaudiaOG. This is an unscripted show. I balance my professional life with my personal passions, finding time to learn and grow despite a busy schedule. I'm all about optimizing my time, whether it's during my commute with a good podcast or reading an insightful article. I'm excited to share my experiences and tips with you all. I'm joined by samhogy, JustinBeall, Johan Lindengard, Schneider, Murm, andycleff, frans, BlueWeasel, Jaybroni, Niklas, and JOeYNWA. It's a full house today, and I'd like to take a moment and let our panel introduce themselves today.
Great introduction. ClaudiaOG. Hey folks, I'm samhogy. I've spent years navigating the tech world, splitting my time between Denmark and the UK. I'm passionate about continuous learning, though finding the time is always a challenge. I love delving into the nuances of language and culture, and I'm here to share my journey and insights with you. Let's dive in.
Thanks for having me on. Hi everyone, I'm justinbeall. As a consultant with a penchant for breaking norms, I believe in the power of trunk-based development and feature flags. My journey has been about challenging the status quo to drive innovation. I'm here to share my experiences from the trenches and maybe crack a joke or two along the way.
Hello, I'm Johan Lindengard. With a background in project management and a passion for agile methodologies, I've seen it all come full circle. I believe in the power of continuous learning and adapting for myself and the teams I work with. I'm excited to share my perspectives on how we can all keep evolving and improving. Let's make this journey together.
It's going to be another interesting podcast. I'm Schneider. I've got a keen eye on the shifting trends in our industry, especially how we're pivoting towards and sometimes misusing concepts like Kanban. My focus is on practical, no-nonsense approaches to improving workflows and team dynamics. I can't wait to share some real-world insights and solutions with you all. Let's get into it.
It's your resident Texan Murm here. I bring a thoughtful and sometimes critical perspective to our discussions, always aiming to lift others up and create a more inclusive community. Whether it's through podcasting or day-to-day interactions, I believe in the power of empathy and understanding. Looking forward to engaging with you all and sharing some meaningful conversations.
Hey folks, I'm andycleff. With a knack for mixing humor and insight, I love exploring the complexities of our work and how we can improve it. Whether it's poking fun at ourselves or diving into serious topics, I'm here to bring a balanced and engaging perspective. Let's have some fun and learn a lot together.
Hi, I'm Frans. I'm all about improving processes and keeping our code clean. With a background in tech and a penchant for detailed rants, I strive to bring clarity and efficiency to our work. I'm excited to share my experiences and maybe a few rants. Let's get into the nitty-gritty of making things work better.
Hello, I'm BlueWeasel. I enjoy taking a light-hearted approach to serious topics, always ready to poke fun at our industry's quirks. Whether it's through memes or insightful commentary, I aim to keep things relatable and engaging. Let's dive into some fun and thought-provoking discussions together.
I don't like to believe I am the smartest one in the room. It's me, Jaybroni. Hey everyone. With a blend of humor and straight talk, I love diving into the cycles of our industry and how we communicate, whether through memes or meaningful discussions. I'm here to bring some fresh perspectives and a bit of laughter. Let's get this conversation rolling.
Hello, I'm Niklas. I bring a multicultural perspective, blending insights from different languages and cultures into our discussions. With a background in tech and a passion for efficient processes, I'm here to share my unique take on the industry and explore new ideas together. Let's embark on this journey of discovery and innovation.
Hi there, I'm JOeYNWA. Known for my candid takes and a touch of humor, I'm here to share my thoughts on Agile, tech, and everything. From consultants and skinny jeans to the nuances of Kanban, I've got opinions and experiences to share. Let's have some fun and keep it real.
Great. We have had some interesting discussions in the Vent Discord channel. Why don't you kick us off, Frans?
Initially, this was a junk drawer post, but I moved it here because it became a rant. I need to know if I'm crazy or if everyone else is. I have a technical team. Before I was there, they just merged everything straight into dev, deleted the branch after merge, and if their story was incomplete, they'd just create a new branch off of development and merge those changes in, again deleting the feature branch. I came in and told them that we're not going to do it because every time they try and merge into production, it's a multi-week affair to get the code clean enough to merge up into production. Feature is merged off of master. When you think it's ready to be tested, you merge the feature into Devi, then you merge the feature into test after that, then merge the feature into a release branch, which is then pushed to prod. Since I have started them keeping features in their own branches, I have not gone a single week without having to teach at least one of them that you can't merge test/dev/QA/etc. into your feature branch because it then inherits all the incomplete code in those environments. Is this that hard of a concept? Is it so unheard of to just keep your code clean till you have to push it to prod?
What you're describing there looks like a pretty standard Git flow setup. I've found over the past 10 years that a lot of developers only have a very superficial knowledge of Git, and it's kinda mad that such a tool is industry standard. You may have some success with tooling that bakes in your best practices. For example, custom shell scripts, custom Git aliases, or even something like NVE Git flow. Do you have developer readmes or guides for how we create new feature branches and how to raise a pull request, overview of the branching model, etc.? I shared a link to NVE Git flow, Git extensions to provide high-level repository operations for Vincent Dreesen's branching model, NVE Git flow.
Why not just push all the code to production and use tags for versioning? Having separate environments, branches like that in general, causes the integration hell you are talking about. Plus, makes it pretty prohibitive to do code cleanup or other things. Use feature flags and do trunk-based development coupled with TD and CI/CD for the win. Level up even more with pair programming to avoid having to do merge requests.
One of the things I now do in my new role is sit in the various forums that decide standards, patterns, etc. Makes me truly appreciate how easy it is for a company to completely gimp their engineering practices and processes from ever being able to innovate.
There is a benefit from standardization, but often it is at the cost of innovation. The bank I am working for is all Angular and Java. Plus, to use anything new, you have to go through architecture and other review boards. It creates so much friction, people just do the same thing everyone else does. Credit to our main stakeholder. She said she does not want to do everything like the bank does. And it's a relatively new department product. So, we went through the process of getting Python approved as an API server. We lost the fight on trying to do React over Angular, but you win some and you lose some. We were told we can't do trunk-based development, but we did it anyways, with the blessing of our stakeholder, knowing we have the best intentions in mind, and she went to bat for us. Recently, one of the higher executives said they have never seen an application go from idea to their pre-prod environment so quickly in the 20-some years he's been there. Also, I have the advantage of being an external expert. When an architect tells me something, I am not worried about my job on the line, LOL.
I miss having time to study. I miss having the energy and focus and the space to study, as well as the time.
How did it work for you before?
No children, LOL.
I can relate. I use my commute time for listening, podcasts, and audiobooks. I try and read at least one article a day. I used to read or watch videos post-lunch, pre-starting my second half of the day, but I'm finding it harder to have that discipline with my current juggling.
I try to make time at work to study in recent years. I realized if I can make time to learn new things to try, we don't get stuck in old tracks, and that feels important. More important than some meetings I opted out of. I think it was Bob Galen that had the percentages. 60% for doing the work, 20% to upskill yourself. 20% to upskill others. That's my aim, at least.
Commuting time on the train used to be my reading time, but very rarely anything work-related. That was my context-switching time. Kinda gone since WFH. I listen to podcasts when running, which is great. If you remember to write your thoughts down when you get in, and not just die on the sofa.
I'm starting to get annoyed with people who use AI to summarize meetings from Microsoft Teams and not even look over what it compiles, then sending it out to everyone as a summary of the meeting. And when it's wrong, all they say is, sorry, it's just the AI write-up, as if it's just normal to expect a bad write-up.
Andy does that with every pod we record too, LOL. I'm always like, we didn't talk about that?
I bet on 85% or higher in accuracy.
83% of that number was a guess. Checkmate, Mr. Cleff.
I bet on 15% or less via my local memory.
It's not fair when you make the joke for me, Andy, LOL.
Which language has a word that roughly translates to, I tried to take a shortcut in my work and ended up spending substantially more time correcting errors than if I'd just done the whole process manually? In English, it's basically clone work item, but I want something more exotic.
What were we talking about?
Laziness that backfired.
More poetic. That's too on the nose.
Haha, yeah, I tried to come up with something.
While I'd normally turn to German or Japanese for something like this, I think culturally they generally don't have time for that kind of bullshit.
ChatGPT suggested. In Japanese, there's a term that captures this concept. Guje risun no kutabire chuke, hotoriso no kutabire moke. This phrase translates roughly to a loss of labor and gain of fatigue, implying that efforts to take a shortcut ended up causing more work and frustration, leading to no gain and additional exhaustion. So you were right about Japanese, but it's a mouthful to pronounce.
CICD. I double-checked that phrase exists.
I came across this interesting Japanese phrase, Guje risun no kutabire chuke, honyorizan no kutabire moke, which Google Translate says means earning money through hard work and loss. I'm amused.
I found this meme that perfectly captures a common misconception about Agile. In the first panel, we see a manager asking, can you speed up feature delivery? And in the second panel, the Agile coach responds with, Agile is not about faster feature delivery. The third panel shows the manager dismissing the coach with, next Agile coach, please. This highlights how Agile is often misunderstood as just a way to get things done faster rather than focusing on improving processes and delivering value. Thought this was spot on for some of the challenges we face. What are your thoughts?
Twice the work in half the time, right?
We gotta stop with the memes. It does more harm to our industry as a whole than we realize. That's just my take.
If memes disappeared as a concept tomorrow and never returned, I'd be fine with it.
One of the slides in my talk at the conference. The caption reads, the rest of the internet must look at us yelling at each other like, are y'all okay? It highlights how, from an outside perspective, our intense debates and disagreements can seem pretty chaotic.
Agile coaching be like, this interesting contraption I found. It uses a pivoting arm with a marker on the left and a dry eraser on the right. The device cleverly draws a perfect circle with the marker, while the eraser follows, ready to clean the board.
Oh please, memes are just visual poking fun at shit in the same way that funny stories are. Sarcasm and irony is gonna sarcasm and irony in some other way. The next thing might be even less understandable for the older generations, me included. So I'm happy with a form of humor that I mostly understand. Some memes are so far down the rabbit hole that you have to live on the internet to understand.
Meme are vital to how humans communicate. They allow for collaboration at scales past the Dunbar number. So does religion.
So here's the thing, Johan Lindengard and Jaybroni. I don't have the argument you will ever agree with seeing your comments. If I may, however, pose an alternative perspective. The notion of poking fun is relative, and we can never understand how our words are received until we care to ask. If you don't care about how your online contextless comments are received because your heart was in the right place when posting, then we are unfortunately sliding down a very slippery slope that leads to the category of privilege and socioeconomic status. If you understand the humor but nobody else does, how does that bring the community together? If you all don't give a shit about bringing the Agile community closer together for our collective benefit, then God be with you, and I'll still be your friend regardless. We don't have to agree with this. But it's 2024 and shit happens every day that scares the hell out of my kids' future. I would rather keep the sarcasm to myself or for times when my voice can be seen, heard. Online, I'd just rather keep any humor pointed at myself first and aim to lift others up instead. Just what I care about now. I still respect the hell out of how both of you show up.
The respect is mutual. I've never seen arguments against memes put so eloquently before. I know you don't like Comic Agile either, and that I can understand more than memes, I think. I use memes sometimes at work to put a point across or just inform about something. I generally don't use it to poke fun at work. It's very context-based and how well I know people. The arguments you put forth about hard times and division in the community are valid. I'm just not sure I think memes are the biggest problem. It can be one of the problems, but I don't feel like it's a big one. I can of course be wrong. Regarding your kids' future, I definitely empathize more. But their memes must be a blip on the screen compared to guns, racism, power outages, and frickin' Democrats versus Republicans. At least it would for me. In Sweden, we have 13-year-old gang wannabes shooting other kids on contacts. That's an issue me liking memes pales against. In all seriousness, in honoring your arguments, I will stop liking and sharing comics on LinkedIn. I can chuckle for myself.
I think things can mean many things to many people groups. Take the events in PA over the weekend LOL. And unfortunately, they all have an equal chance to be valid.
Reality is tricky that way.
There is a word in Danish that nearly works, bjørnetjeneste. It is used when someone tries to be helpful and ends up making it worse. And I guess it pretty exotic in the US, and good luck pronouncing it correctly.
I miss working in Denmark. For a long time I was working 1 week in CPH and 1 week in the UK. It was great. Came this close to moving permanently pre-Brexit.
The exact same phrase with the same meaning is also in Finnish, karhunpalvelus, that is bear service.
So what you're saying is we need bjørnetjeneste and karhunpalvelis stickers. Okay, I can work with that. I actually think bjørnetjeneste is harder to pronounce than my last name.
So you can teach bjørnetjeneste pronunciation.
Pronouncing Danish words with a Geordie accent is very weird.
My family are Scousers, so all my CKs become SRRs, but you probably guessed that already.
I'm trying to imagine Sam speaking Danish with the Geordie Shore accent, and I think I'm having a stroke.
My granddad was a vicar in the Danish Sailors' Church in Liverpool, hooked up with my grandmother there. She was born and lived on Anfield Road. Geordie accent is half Danish anyway. Bairn comes from barn, means child. Lop means flea, comes from loppy. The Vikings did their bit. Same with hjem in Danish.
So if I say the bairn in the bairn, I'm saying the baby in the barn.
No, then you are just Canadian.
Beat me to it. There's huge cultural and linguistic similarities. But it's kind of weird in the way that if you're on a KLM flight and you tune out, you can kind of understand the Dutch announcements. It feels like you have a key, and you're using it in a different lock, and it kind of works.
Agree. I'm polyglot, so I don't really count, but I don't speak Dutch yet, and I work with 3 Dutch guys. And I also feel I understand what they're saying most of the time when they speak Dutch.
Language is a fun thing.
Random joke I heard today. Agile is the only word in the English language that means the opposite when you capitalize it.
Oh Lord, they're talking about the cost of story points.
1 story point equals sign, 1 sanity point.
I had a conversation with another consultant that I work with about this topic the other day. He was asking my opinions, LOL. They are extremely biased.
Thanks for sharing your thoughts, Justin Beall. And with that, we've come to the end of our discussion today. I want to extend a big thank you to all our participants. Samhogy, Johan Lindengard, Schneider, Murm, andycleff, Frans, BlueWeasel, Jaybroni, Niklas, and JOeYNWA. Your insights and experiences made for a fantastic conversation. To our listeners, thank you for tuning in. We hope you found today's episode as engaging and thought-provoking as we did. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a review. Until next time, keep learning and stay agile.
If you enjoyed this episode, please give us a review, a rating, or leave comments on iTunes, Stitcher, or your podcasting platform of choice. It really helps others find us. Much thanks to the artist from who provided us our outro music free of charge. If you like what you heard, to find more music you might enjoy. If you'd like to join the discussion and share your stories, please jump into the fray We at the Agile Uprising are committed to being totally free. However, if you'd like to contribute and help us defray hosting and production costs, we do have who knows, you might even get some surprises in the mail.